Have you seen what's going on Marathon or TikTok?
Well, here's what's crazy about that. I have a weird flyaway that's in my face. Anyway, so I saw this what's her name? Katie Mackz?
Mackz?
What's her name?
I think so. Katie Mackz.
That's how you pronounce Mackz? Anyway, I didn't know there was any drama going on. I was just scrolling TikTok and I saw her with like Pierce Brosnan. Hey, like, what are you doing today? Or Tim from what was it? What was that show called? Who, What, Where? Tim Gunn. Yeah, it was Tim Gunn. She was doing it with Tim Gunn. And he was dressed in a suit, and he was like, well, I don't run, but I can do this sitting down. And I was like, oh, she's interesting. There's a lot of like comments and likes here. And they must have fed that to me because she was embroiled in controversy. Yeah. So I had no idea it was going on until you texted me. So I stayed off of it just so you could fill me in.
Okay, so this girl, she's Katie Mackz. Her whole shtick on TikTok goes up to celebrities, athletes, politicians, kind of a lot of people. She goes up and she says, how many miles are we running today?
Hey, how many miles are you running today?
I'm a sprinter, but I will run 1 mile with you to Cabo.
And then she does like a 2-minute long interview. Well, I mean, it's longer than that, but they cut it into like a 2-minute long little interview that goes up on her YouTube. And I think she does a podcast in the same way. So last week, she does this at the White House.
What is your roles and responsibilities at the White House?
Yeah, my job is to relay the president's message and his agenda and his views and feelings to the American people through the press.
What is your favorite space at the White House?
Well, why don't we go right in here and I will show you.
Which, fun fact, I was watching this thing and
Oh,
I've been in that room.
Yes, you've told me. Yeah, you've told me about your scarring experience.
Scarring experience
with Sarah Huckabee Sanders
in the press room. She's walking around and she's doing this tour and she's like, wow, this is so amazing. I just love what you guys are doing. And like, this was not an interview. This was clearly just a paid for advertising by the Trump administration that was like,
Did she ask how many miles are you running?
Yeah, and she's like, well, we're not going to do that today. We're just going to take a tour of the White House. And then they just take her on a tour of the White House.
What?
Yes, and they just take her on a tour of the White House. And the whole time, she's just, like, showing all these, like, doctored images of Trump. Like, you know, like those, like, these are, like, on the walls in the White House. And
they're Chat GPT animations of Donald Trump that he has gone on Chat GPT.
This is a meme that I love. It's a man pointing at a brain and it says, no thanks, I won't be needing that because I believe everything the legacy media shows. So look, we want critical thinking around here.
She's just like taking a tour and all the cameras just panning to it. And she's like, this is so lovely. Like, it's so great to be here. What a dream come true. And you can imagine that the comments on her Instagram went over really well.
Were rational. They were rational and highly nuanced.
Super rational, super nuanced, and it's like it's hitting the TikTok running community hard. I'll tell you that.
Every day when I come into work, I try to remember what a blessing it is to work in this building and to remember the policies we're implementing are truly impacting so many lives.
I'm not part of the TikTok running community. I just like to watch it from the outside.
Well, we talked about that last week because you said the most you had ever run in your life was 1 mile. So I'm very certain you're not a part of the marathon community. So didn't you say that Tim Walz's daughter got on TikTok and said, like, yo, you need to, my dad was on here, you need to remove this shit.
She said, like, you need to take it down, and did this whole post about, like, how people turn to running for, like, activism and for change and release, like running is political. And because I guess Katie Mackz's whole thing was like, I'm not politicizing anything. And they were like, you have a platform, you're politicizing anything when you have a platform. That's what happens.
By the way, this is the president's Tesla, which he so generously has told staff that we are allowed to drive if we wish to take it out.
Video's still up. So, I mean, I guess she must be getting paid enough money that she doesn't care that much. She has almost 1 million followers.
How much do you think they paid her?
Oh.
How much do you think they paid her for that?
A lot.
If you had to guess, like, is it 50,000?
No,
is it 20,000? Like, what would you guess? You would guess it's more.
For
that good old Russian money. That, like, Did it come in ruble? You think she got paid in rubles?
And no, in Bitcoin. Whatever his Bitcoin that he started.
Think she got paid in? Yeah, got paid in Donald Trump bucks on Bitcoin.
Trump bucks.
She didn't lose any followers though. She
sure
probably
she
has emboldened the right wing. What do you think? You think the marathon community is polarized?
Right,
Do you think it's heavily left leaning? There's like the right wing runners club, you know, like you just only run in singlets of like American flags or like camo singlets or like stuff back to let her shoot responsibly, stuff that's like NRA,
NRA.
they'll never take our guns.